Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. This is Heike and you're watching stonecoldcoffeecrafts. I am kind of 100% sure that the furry assistant Lola the ragdoll cat is not going to join us today. I'm filming this on July 14th, and in case you have not watched it, listened to it yet, go back to yesterday's whip and chat. I explain why Lola has had quite a day. So she is still a bit out of it, and I don't think she will be here. Please excuse her. She is not a happy queen right now. The poor little thing. I might hate this setup in 5 minutes, but just when I put up my camera, I realized that the lighting just with my little desk lamp is actually looking pretty good. I like how the colors show up. I think it actually shows you a little better what I've been trying to say about this particular piece for months now. That is that it does look a little bit more contrasty for these light colored fellows if there is not the bright filming light on it. So this actually looks a bit more like the real situation. I might hate it in 5 minutes, but who knows. Anyway, this is Flosstube. When you see this, it is going to be July 15th. So this month we're actually going to manage to upload on the 15th and the 29th. Mark my words and mock me when I fail. So as always, on the middle of the month video, we are going to start out with the stitch along I usually work first on during the month, and that is the There Is No Planet B by Cloudfactory. And Lola might try to prove a point there in a moment. She just wobbled under the table. Kinda afraid she might try to jump up. In case you haven't watched the video, she had surgery today and she is still drugged up and out of it and very unhappy and restless because my cat never sleeps when she comes back from stuff like that like she should. So she's a grumpy queen right now. Anyway. So this is usually the first stitch along I work on because it drops the first. I have two that drop on the first of the month, the Planet B and the Dark Queen of the Sea. But this one drops around 10 a.m. my time, and the Dark Queen usually only comes out like 7 or 8 hours later. So by the time I get off work, if it's a work day, I'm already working on this when the Dark Queen drops, so it's usually the first I do. And for this month, for part 7, we got the gorilla, who is also basically the mascot of this whole stitch along, and we got the, I think it was called the whooping crane. I love cranes. Cranes are such majestic birds. And I love how these two turned out. Aren't they too cute? This gorilla actually, from the way he's charted, it reminds me a lot of the gorillas from Disney's Tarzan. I don't know. He just looks like it. I love it. I absolutely dig it. So there was a lot of, yeah, see, I hate it now for this setup. And there was a lot of stitching with DMC Etoile. I think you can actually see that there is a little something going on in the black. Not so much in the white. Maybe if I... you can see there's a little bit of sparkle going on in the black. There's also a little bit of sparkle going on in the white, in the crane. Yeah. So as always, this stitch along is just the most fun. We are now 7 parts in from 12. I have yet to be disappointed. It is just joyful every month. And a little later, when we talk about the Alice in Wonderland, we are going to learn that even stitch-alongs that have been fun so far can be disappointing and a bit of a chore sometimes. This one, not yet. I absolutely enjoy everything single critter in here. Yeah. So next month we are going to fill in this spot here, and then I think we are going to move up, right, and over, if I remember correctly. I think that's the direction it goes, like noise TV. I am stitching this on a 28 count piece of linen dyed by xJuDesign. As always, I have long since forgotten what the color is called and I never remember to look it up, but I think it is brown sand. It is a beautiful color. I've just placed another order with Jukas, but it hasn't arrived yet. A couple of pieces of linen, which I hope will be a good choice for something I'm going to show you in the haul section too. So I basically ordered a test piece, and I need a much bigger piece for that pattern. But more on that later. I have a bit of haul today that is not from Russia. Clutch your pearls. This is stitched with all the called for flosses. I have made no adjustments so far. I am still thinking about backstitching around some of the lighter critters just to give them a little bit more contrast. But as you can see in this lighting, this is what it actually looks like, and it's not as bad as it always looks with the very, very bright lights. So still thinking about it. We shall see. I'm kind of excited to see what will be next month, because I'm thinking we are going to get more sea and land mixed things, like these three here and these two. Maybe I might be wrong, not sure, but I say that every month. I'm just so excited to see where we are going with this. These critters are just too cute, absolutely too cute. Yeah, so this is the first. The second one I'm going to show you, not actually the second one I worked on, is the Alice in Wonderland by Owl Forest, and I did not unroll it completely this week, just because it is Wednesday and day after tomorrow the next part is going to drop, and I don't want to re-tighten everything and stuff, because this is always a bit annoying. But part 6 was this part down here. Trying to give you a bit of a close-up, but that's what the lighting is not good for. But as you can see, we have Alice drowning in her own tears here, after she turned teeny tiny. The one and only adjustment I made is I made her eyes blue again, because I made her eyes blue the first time I stitched her. And yeah, everything else is as charted. I even did not forget this time to stitch the words. I forgot to backstitch the words on the last part here on the Drink Me label. I think you can just barely see that there is now something black on there. This was the label of the bottle that should have read Drink Me, and I forgot to backstitch the words. I did remember this time for Eat Me, even though you can barely see it. Let me make it a bit brighter. Yeah, that's very bright, but at least you can see the words. This is the desk lamp that broke recently, and I got a new, it's not exactly a bulb, it's one of these neon office type of lights, and I got a much cooler color this time around. The last time it was a very warm light, and this time I got neutral, so more daylightish, and it's actually working out fine so far. I love it. So I said that this part was a bit of a disappointment. I think that's a bit worded a bit wrong. It wasn't exactly a disappointment, but I did not enjoy stitching this giant foot and shoe, mostly because of the écru, which is used for the sock. I just do not enjoy stitching with white or écru DMC. It is very stiff. It always looks kind of twisted and ugly. I do not like how my stitches look with it, and if there are big patches with it, I'm just very royally annoyed with it. So that's what happened here. I dragged so much doing this. I think I started stitching on the foot like over a week ago, and I only finished day before yesterday and did not stitch in between. But I lovingly call part 6 now my tyrant part, because I watched a show Netflix recommended to me while I stitched it, and I had already the red border done and most of her stocking here. I only had this part of the stocking and the shoe to do, and it was actually a show called How to Become a Tyrant on Netflix. It's a Netflix production, and it literally has it all. It has absolutely inappropriate delicious music, it has cartoons, it has dry British snark, it has it all. It is, like Rachel put it, a bit of a silly show, but I enjoy it very much. So this is now my tyrant piece, and we are not going to say the names because I'm pretty sure that could cause issues on YouTube. But let's just say that her shoe is the German and the Iraqi one. The Iraqi one actually also moved over to the water and was then succeeded by the Ugandan one, and then we moved into the Russian one, and from there we went, I think, to Libya, ending in North Korea, and it was absolutely hilarious. I know that I was in Russia when I stitched the mouse and her head, and I think back down here when I started stitching on the Eat Me part, we were in North Korea. And that also moved up here. So I guess somewhere in between here was Libya. I don't remember where. He was the least interesting, to be honest. The least funny one. So yeah. This is my weird brain and my weird world, but you are used to it. This kind of carried me through this. Usually if I have a hard time working on something because there is a detail in it I don't enjoy, watching or listening to something good to go with will carry me through, and that was also the case this time around. So if you are easily amused like I am and interested, check this show out. If you have Netflix, of course, but I guess who doesn't these days? It seems like everyone and their hamster has Netflix. So yeah, that was that. Next part going to drop on Friday. I hope it doesn't have an annoying big foot. So, and last but not least, as always, Her Majesty, the Dark Queen of the Sea. I think this actually shows the fabric really well in this light. So, as you know, this has been finished a long time. Last month we stitched this part, and now this month we finished out her tentacles. That's her tentacles. Doesn't she look awesome? I also went back in and changed up the coral down here. As you might remember, if I have one, I'm going to put up a picture here in the corner. The corals cut off in a straight line to represent a frame that was completed with the corners that I didn't stitch up there, but that were charted up there. And when I decided I wasn't going to do the corners, I decided also that I was going to extend the corals to break this frame completely. And I did, because next month there is only going to be backstitching and beading. And for both of them, I think it's better if the corals are already in place like I want them to be in the end. I don't expect any backstitching to go there, but just in case. So I extended this one. I pulled some of the stitching back out here because it went up. So I pulled it out there and then let it taper off. I am thinking about extending this little thing here to something that looks probably like this one, just reversed. I think that would look good. It looks a bit weird here. Like there should be something, but it was cut off. So I might go back and and do that. And then on this side, I actually pulled everything out that was on top of this tentacle and also everything that was here. And then I stitched this part here new in. I wasn't so entirely sure what I wanted to do, so I basically winged it, and probably the back looks a bit wild because I went a little bit back and forth adjusting stuff. I also added this one in here, and I think it looks pretty natural. I think if you consider the fact that I winged it, I did a pretty good job. So if I need to make any adjustments, I'm going to make it next month when the beading and the backstitching comes in. But like I said, currently I only think that I'm going to extend this little piece here up into another tiny coral thingy, and then this should be done. And all that is left is the beading and backstitching, and I'm so excited about that. I'm probably going to hate my life and eat my words very soon, because the backstitching is going to be with glittery floss, and Rachel likes to call it the devil's floss, so that might be true. There are going to be beads here in the trident and beads on her chest, because she is going to wear some kind of glorious necklace. And there are also gaps in her hair, so I fully expect that there are going to be beads. Other than that, we have to wait and be surprised, I guess. As for her crown, so the actual queen has a coral and floaty crown thing on her head. She actually has coral horns and a floaty crown. I am not going to do that. So what I will probably have to do is fill in these two little weird gaps in her hair, because this is where the horns would start. I'm just going to do a couple more purple stitches and fill that in to make it look natural. And I think she is not going to have either. I have charted a crown and coral thing that I like more than the original thing, but I actually like her. I think she does not look incomplete without it, so I don't want to. Right now I don't want to. Ask me again in 2 weeks. But at this moment in time, nope. Also, the corners here will not happen, like I said. I already broke up the coral thing. Or the one sneaky thing I did with the corals, if you've seen one of my previous floss tubes, you probably remember that I said that I'm going to leave it like this. So these last two columns of stitches, this is where it actually cut off. And I did not feel like I wanted to pull out a ton of this leaf just to restitch the coral. I did not. I just decided no one is going to see that unless they get real up close with this piece and really check it for mistakes. No one will see if I just stitch over the green. So that's what I did. There's a little tiny bit of green peeking through, but like I said, you have to get really up close to see that it is actually a bit more bulky than it's supposed to be, and that a little bit of green pokes through. That's the good thing about the opalescent fabric, actually, because the green kind of has the same effect like the glitter that pokes through in certain places. So good choice, me. Yeah, so that's her stitching pretty much complete, except for one or two minor adjustments I'm still going to make. So yeah, kind of happy. I also chose a frame. I have to order it still haven't done that. And I'm probably going to try and lace her this time. The last one I mounted on foam board, but that was a bit thick for the frame. I think I'm going to attempt lacing with her. It's going to be my first time. But she will need it because she is very full coverage in places. The fabric actually is a bit wobbly. Don't know if that is me or if that just happens with these full coverage pieces. Pieces, jeez. But if it is stretched, I think, I don't know if you can actually see it, but if it is stretched, I can see that it will work out. So, yeah. Looking forward to that. I have no idea where I'm going to put her, but she will be on the wall. She deserves it. And I'm looking forward to doing the geisha next year. It's not going to be a stitch along. It's going to be one of my big pieces I plan to stitch. And yeah, I think she is going to be very, very beautiful too. So that is the stuff I worked on in the first half of July. And as always, the second half of July will be the Animal Crossing, which drops tomorrow. Then we have another part of Alice, which drops on Friday. And on the 25th, we have part 5 already of the Cozy Cafe by the Frosted Pumpkin Stitchery. I, of course, as always, forgot. This is stitched with all of the called for floss on the specifically dyed for this stitch along fabric by Under the Sea Fabric. It's called Bewitched. I chose the 28 count opalescent linen. And this is all the called for floss except for the magic. I switched the black and the magic out for Etoile. I don't think you can actually see that because there's a lot of glitter going on, but I switched it out for Etoile. This is not the only change I made. I also changed the lightest yellow gold color in the trident because it was too cartoony yellow for me. I went a bit more gold. So 2 changes I made, but other than that, I have used the called for floss. And the Alice one is the called for hand-dyed floss by our Forest Embroidery on the called for fabric, which is a 32 count Vintage Country Mocha by Zweigart. There. I constantly forget to give you these stats. So, I already told you the plans, so let's move over to my haul. It is not too big, but while stitching on the Queen, I thought for a moment, a very long moment, like a multiple hour long moment, that I would run out of 792 DMC. I did not have a full skein of it when I started the stitch along. I had already used this color in last year's Satsuma Street Alice in Wonderland stitch along, so it was not a complete skein. If you have a full skein, don't worry, you won't run out. I didn't either, but I had literally like a maybe 3-inch piece left at the end when I put in the last stitch, so I cut it very close. This was like the world championship of thread chicken, and I won. Anyway, because I thought I would not win, I went ahead and revisited a shop that had disappointed me quite a bit last year, which was Stickteufelchen in Germany. Last year, when all the fun with the beer virus started, I don't know what, they had a horrible meltdown. Nothing worked, orders weren't shipped, communication wasn't done. Orders were wrong. It took like 59 reminders to get the not sent stuff sent. A couple of skeins actually never got sent to me. So I pretty much said, you know what, I'm never going to order from this shop again. And I stuck to it for over a year. But now with the new rules in place that I have to pay VAT on everything I order from anywhere outside the EU, my options to order DMC at a reasonable price actually have become very meager. So Stickteufelchen happens to be the best option once again. So I thought, let's bite the bullet, let's try, and I ordered this one skein, which they helpfully stuck in here, so it's going to live there for the moment. But I I thought, well, I'm not going to order just the one skein that's like 81 or 83 cents worth of DMC and then shipping for I don't know how much euro. So nope, let's look for something else. And one thing they always seem to have in stock are most of the Mirabilia patterns. And I've been wanting this one since I saw Julie from Kansas City Girl in the Colorado World stitching on it. It was her snow stitching piece. She finished it this year, I think. Yeah, I think beginning of this year she finished it. But ever since I saw her stitching on it, beginning of last year I think it was, I put this on the list of Mirabilias I wanted to stitch at some point. So they had the pattern in stock, so I got it. I am not going to adjust her hair color. Julie adjusted her to a redhead because I think she did it because she is a redhead. I'm a blonde, so this is actually fitting. So I'm going to keep it that way. And this is a stitch, the model is stitched on Twilight Blue linen. And I looked for the closest DMC color to it, and the internet told me it's a 318. So it's actually more of a gray than a blue, but it's a gray that is very cool and has a blue tinge. So I ordered a piece of fabric from Jukas that is more variegated than this one, but is supposed to be a mixture of 318 and was it 415? So I think this might actually be a fabric that would go very well with the piece. We shall see. The piece I ordered is not big enough because this is a big one. She is 295 by 243 stitches, which they say is on 32 count, which I'm not going to use, 18.375 by 15.188 inches. So I'm actually going to stitch this on 28 count, especially since I plan to get a hand dyed and hand dyed shrings, and I don't like how my stitches look on a 32 hand dyed, so I'm going to go with a 28. And I also prefer how the beads work out on a 28, so that's what I'm going to go with if I buy this piece in the end. We shall see. So not super exciting, but kinda exciting. And then I also got just a plain piece of black cashel linen because my friend Rachel is evil and she is stitching the Twisted Rainbow sampler, and ever since she started this I have this huge craving to do it myself. So I have now the piece of black linen and I'm currently waiting, and I think it is at customs now. I have to check. They sent me a letter, but as always I don't know because the British shops still don't send tracking numbers for it's not tracking numbers, it is shipping ID numbers for untracked shipments, because it actually doesn't make any sense, you can't track them, but customs uses this number, so it would be good if they did, so I wouldn't have to ask customs to tell me who this letter, shipment, whatever is from. But yeah, I have to check with them. I think it is that one, because as far as I know that's the only outstanding one from the UK. Yammering on. I ordered the floss pack, the silk pack from Arts and Design in Wales. Usually I would have ordered it from my friend Jessie. Mislaid Paged, she has an Etsy shop and she sells the pattern and the floss pack. So if you are in the US and you are interested in stitching this with a silk conversion, a dinky dye silk conversion, Jessie has that. Please visit her Etsy shop. Give it a try. She has great customer service. Just for me in Germany, it is not feasible to order from her Etsy shop with all the shipping and the VAT on top. If I can get it for literally no shipping, and yeah, the VAT is on top, but it's still a better price than when I would source it elsewhere from the UK. So that's why I went there. Sorry, Jessie. It was a huge price difference, and I would never ask you to give me that kind of price, because you would literally probably make nothing of it, and that's we're not going to do that. I'd rather ask people in the US to buy it from you if they want to do it. So if you do, give Jessie a try, please. So I got the just plain black linen, nothing fancy there, because there's going to be lots of colors and special stitches going on, and the fabric should not detract from that. There's it. And then we have my last order to 123 Stitch, and it's actually only half of it because they shipped it in 2 shipments. This one came through. The other one is still in transit, and I'm probably going to have to go to customs for it. It will not arrive here directly, so we shall see. But I ordered the next 2 patterns for the sampler of the month. And I think July is actually the one that is still on the way. So we have... this is not going to work out. This is where the higher light usually is helpful. This is the May one with the beekeep. It is very cute, and I'm sorry the picture is so small. It just is like that. And then we have the June one with the picnic and all the fruits. This is such a happy monthly thing. I have no idea when I'm going to do them, and I know they are not supposed to be stitched in one piece, so I'm trying very hard not to just go, meh, we're going to stitch it all in one piece. So this is Country Cottage Needleworks. I can read. I did go to school. I learned how to read. Sampler of the month. They release one of those every month. Like I said, this is May and June. July should be on the way, and I think, I'm not sure if August was already available when I ordered. I don't think it was. But I've seen August listed in some shops, just not in yet. It's another thing. And then I saw this, and I found it so hilariously cute. I had to get it. It is a Teresa Kogut pattern. It is the Silovich's Quaker, and yeah, it just makes me happy. It just totally makes me happy. I need to start some kind of Halloween stitch this year. I had a few things kitted up last year and didn't start any of them, but one of them has to be started this year, especially if I do abstain from any stitch-alongs, which I hope I will be able to. The Frosted Pumpkin Stitchery usually gets me, but I'm going to try and not do it this year. Let's see how I will fare. So yeah, these are all my purchases. I was not too bad. I'm trying to be. So that's it for today. I hope I will get this up in time because I really want to. I have planned to have an unboxing video tomorrow if you're interested in diamond painting and not just here for the stitching. And I also have planned to have a diamond painting final review up on Saturday to catch up on some of the lost time and give you some of the videos I had planned and then didn't do in the last week and a half. And then on Sunday, hopefully I will have my second episode of On Another Crafty Note. I have some jewelry making. I have started the Paint by Number by Diamond shop. I also did some knitting, so I'm going to try to put that all in there. That being said, have a wonderful day, have a wonderful night, and I hope I will be back tomorrow and see you there. Bye!